Stories are the most ancient form of communication. I read a book called The Alchemist that really programmed my mind to say, man, there's possibilities out here for me. It taught me, in the moment I didn't know what I was doing, I'm just telling people stories. But, it made a big difference. Sometimes the stories that we tell ourselves are more important than the stories that we tell others. One of the things that we have to focus on within our businesses is the customers we have finding the great stories. If you're not feeling good, if you're not excited about what you're doing, I can tell you this, the person on the other side will be way less excited than you. My name is Akeem Shannon, and today we're going to talk about stories. Not sure why it says don't tell stories. I probably should have thought about that before I came up with the title. But who remembers being a kid? Did anybody's mama or daddy tell them, don't tell stories? Raise your hand. Who got in trouble for fibbing? What's some of the things that your parents told you not to do when they're talking about lying as a kid? Anything? I see a couple of hands. What was that? Don't do it. And I wish I had learned that lesson, but I didn't. As you mentioned before, I lost my college scholarship at 19 years old, and instead of just telling my parents the truth, I told a story. I told a story with Photoshop and edited all of my grades to say they were good when they were not. It was a terrible, terrible idea, and I went back up to school with my Photoshop grades, and I sat there in the dorm, depressed, sad, squatting. They wanted me to leave because I had to pay tuition. And, I realized, man, this is about as low as I could possibly get. My mom always told me, don't tell stories. But here I am living the worst story of my life. But when I came home, I made myself a promise. She mentioned before, I just knew that when I came back, I had to recover from this big, big failure that I had. And so I'll tell you a story. I come back. I start working for $10 an hour. I become the top sales rep at not one, but 2 Fortune 500 companies from being depressed in a dorm room. And I told that story to a guy at a company called Square, one of the biggest financial tech companies in the world. And as I was sitting there telling him this story, he was like, well, Akeem, we thought you had a college degree. I'm not sure you were qualified for this job. And he's like, and actually, you don't have any outside sales experience. You've been working at 2 cell phone companies. But when I told him that story, if I had failed and came back and became number 1, he said, you know what? I'm just going to say you have a college degree. And I got that job. See, that day, I learned not to tell stories, but to sell stories. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is selling stories. See, there's a difference between storytelling and story selling. Now, I see some of you in the crowd are like, well, wait a minute, King. I ain't in sales. What are you talking about? That ain't going to affect me. And some of y'all are like, oh man, Akeem, I'm in sales. I need some sales. Like, give me some stories to tell. But the thing is, sales isn't about just the exchange of money for goods. It's about getting someone to believe in something, to believe in a cause, in a mission, in a business. And when we put that emphasis on our stories, make sure that there's something that is going to get someone from one place to another, that's when our stories start working for us. These are our stories, right? We got the start, the mission, the customers. So who's going to come first? Cassandra, come on up. All right, so what I want you to do is I'm going to have you do how you got started. Okay, and in this story, I want you to give us the real raw version, the real thing. What makes you passionate, what makes you excited, all that stuff, okay? And you only got 30 seconds. So this is going to be real short.
Hi everybody, how are you doing? My name is Cassandra Williams from Educational Innovation 360. I was a teacher in Los Angeles. And being a teacher, it is difficult, especially now. But I was alone. And after graduating college, You do all that work, you think you're rocking it, you are killing the game. And when you go into the school, you realize that sometimes the university really doesn't prepare you for the real world and what's happening, and the teachers and the principal, and am I gonna get fired this year? So one of the things I did is I built a company that supports teachers and leaders in the classroom using video coaching. And we are able to target and support effective leaders as well as teachers in the classroom so they're not alone.
Wow, that was, what do you guys think? Was that a great story? I don't even have any feedback. That was phenomenal. That was excellent. Give her another round of applause, folks. That was great. I'm going to have you talk about one of your customers. And this is not going to be, I don't want a customer that comes through. I want it to be an MBE that you've worked with, that you've had impact on, and they've had impact on your business.
So good morning, my name is Ren. I am the Supplier Diversity Manager at Alchemist Health, formerly known as Anthem, and I want to speak about Engaging Solutions. Engaging Solutions is one of our top diverse vendors. They have been with Alchemist Health for about 15 years doing business with us. We appreciate them a lot. They are a women-owned business certified, and they're also an MBE. What I really most like from them is the relationship that we are creating right now. So through that collaboration, we receive a lot of engagement, we receive a lot of commitments, and we actually have 4 new champions that are executive leaders. So I'm really excited for them.
Awesome, give her a round. All right, so I'm gonna give you a little bit, a tiny, teeny bit of feedback, okay? What I would have loved to hear there is, what was it like when Engage Solutions first came to you? What was the size of their business? What were they doing? Where were they at? Where did they go? What was the impact that you as the organization had on them? But then also talk about, here's what they brought to us and here's how they changed things for our customers as well too. A lot of the times when we have these stories, we only have the highlights. But imagine how impactful it is. I'm gonna make up some stuff here. So imagine this, if you say, you know, when Engaging Solutions came to us, they were $1 million business. You know, they were pretty good. They were able to offer us, you know, impeccable service, but, you know, honestly, we didn't know if it was gonna work out for them. But that was 15 years ago. Today, they're a $20 million business. And they're a $20 million business because we made the choice to do business with them. But here's the thing, we thought that we were helping them out, but in fact, it was us who was benefiting because we saw our CSAT scores with our customers increase by 30% when they were the contractor attached to their business. And it changed the mindset of how we think about diverse suppliers because it's not a handout, it's an opportunity. And we saw the opportunity in them. They saw the opportunity in us, and it created great possibilities for our customers. So I made some of that up, but if you go and we talked about those principles of the data, and we attach that data to the stories, it elevates our stories and makes them really powerful for us. Great job, excellent. Give her another round of applause, everyone.